The collagen supplement industry makes over $3 billion every year. Millions of people swallow capsules containing crushed animal parts in hopes of youthful skin. But here's what they never tell you. Collagen cannot be absorbed in its entirety. Stomach acid breaks it down before it reaches your skin. Meanwhile, a grass from tropical Asia does something completely different. It doesn't give you collagen. It tells your cells to make their own. Research shows that this plant increased collagen production by almost 78%. At the end of the video, you will learn what kind of grass this is and how to grow it at home for almost free. Walk into any health food store today. The shelves are overflowing with collagen products, powders in elegant containers, capsules promising eternal youth. Celebrities advertise them on every label. The global collagen supplement market was valued at $3.75 billion in 2026. It is projected to grow to $5.82 billion by 2031 at a growth rate of 9.2% annually. Collagen has become one of the supplement industry's biggest success stories. Sales have increased 50% over the past 3 years. The marketing message is simple. Eat collagen, get collagen. Your skin will glow, your joints will be healed, your hair will become thicker. Sounds logical, sounds scientific, sounds like exactly what your body needs. But here's where the story falls apart. The Cleveland Clinic puts it bluntly. Collagen cannot be absorbed by the body in its entirety. It must be broken down into smaller peptides or amino acids before absorption. Your digestive system does not recognize collagen as collagen. She sees a protein, splits this protein into pieces. These parts are scattered throughout the body to where proteins are needed. You cannot direct these fragments towards your face. You can't send them specifically to your knees. Your body uses these amino acids for what it needs most urgently. It could be your heart muscle. Perhaps it's the liver. They may never reach your skin at all. A 224 study in the journal Trends in Food Science and Technology found something even more alarming. Collagen peptides often fail to reach and maintain effective levels in the bloodstream. Think about what this means for your $30 spent on a month's supply of powder. Small peptides, such as dipeptides and tripeptides, are rapidly absorbed in the small intestine. They cause short-term spikes in the blood that quickly decrease. The effect is temporary, the benefit is doubtful. You spend $30 on a month's supply of collagen powder. Mix it into your morning coffee religiously. The powder dissolves, and you drink it. Stomach acid attacks him immediately. Enzymes cut it into fragments. These fragments enter the bloodstream briefly and then disperse. Your skin cells never received a delivery notification. Moreover, the problem goes deeper than just absorption. Your body doesn't build collagen from collagen alone. It requires specific cofactors. The most critical of them is vitamin C. Without vitamin C, the entire process of collagen synthesis stops. This is a hidden bottleneck that no supplement seller will tell you about. Vitamin C acts as a cofactor for hydroxylase enzymes. These enzymes modify proline and lysine. These amino acids form the basis of collagen structure. The National Institutes of Health explains that without vitamin C, the critical step of hydroxylation cannot occur. The collagen that is formed may be unstable and less effective. Even with enough amino acids from supplements, your body cannot build collagen fibers properly if you lack vitamin C. This is a hidden bottleneck. Collagen production is not only limited to raw materials. It is limited by enzymatic activity, the cellular machinery that assembles these materials. Look at scurvy, a classic example of what happens when this mechanism breaks down. Bleeding gums, poor wound healing, destruction of connective tissue. Ingesting more raw materials will not fix a broken mechanism. Now consider the economics of this industry. The global collagen supplement market is projected to grow from $2.78 billion in 2026 to $4.74 billion by 2034. The market is driven by growing consumer awareness of preventive health, the dynamics of an aging population, and the increasing integration of functional foods into daily diets. However, most consumers never question whether the products actually work as advertised. Collagen supplements require repeat purchases. The subscription model dominates. You finish one package, order another, the supply chain never ends. Companies source collagen from cattle hides in Brazil, from fish scales in Vietnam and from chicken cartilage in processing plants throughout Asia. Industrial extraction, chemical purification, spray drying, encapsulation. Every step adds cost. Every step adds profit margin. Animal-derived ingredients accounted for 85.52% of the collagen supplement market in 2025. The cattle segment dominated the market and accounted for the largest share of revenue at 35.3%. What if there was a completely different approach? What if, instead of ingesting processed animal parts, you could activate the cells that build collagen? What if you could flip the switch on your own production machine? What if this switch was a plant that grows like a weed in tropical climates? This is not a hypothetical scenario. This plant has been around for 3,000 years. 500 million people across Asia know him well. Western science ignored him for a century. The supplement industry has every reason to continue to ignore it. The plant is called Centella asiatica. In India, it is called Brahmi or Manduka pari. In Indonesia, it is called Pegagan. In the Western world, the common name is gotu kola. Traditional healers call it tiger grass because they have observed wounded tigers lying around in the bushes of this plant to treat injuries. The herb is mentioned in the historical text Sushruta Samhita, an ancient Indian medical treatise. It has been used as a medicine in the 8,000-year-old Vedic tradition of India for thousands of years. In China, known as Jia Gu Lan, it is one of the legendary elixirs of life, known more than 2,000 years ago. There is a saying in Sri Lanka, 2 leaves a day keeps old age away. They talk about gotu kola leaves. Families have eaten them for generations not as medicine, but as food, as a normal part of daily nutrition. The fragmentation of titles tells a familiar story. Brahmi in one tradition, Manduka pari in another, gotu kola in the West, waterleaf in some regions. Multiple names for one plant means no single identity, no single research funding, no single market presence. The confusion has deepened because a completely different plant also uses the name Brahmi. Bacopa monnieri shares this designation in parts of India. 2 different species, one name, botanical chaos. Western researchers had difficulty understanding which studies related to which plant. Knowledge remained fragmented, but the plant continued to grow, continued to spread, continued to do what it had always done. 1 species, 2 plants, and a century of confused Western understanding. Centella asiatica has emerged as a strategic biomass for the sustainable production of high-value biochemicals at the intersection of traditional medicine and modern biotechnology. Research emphasizes triterpenoid saponins as the main bioactive molecules, including asiaticoside, madecassoside, asiatic acid, and madecassic acid as key compounds relevant for pharmaceutical, dermatological, nutraceutical applications. The mechanism of action is remarkable. Gotu kola does not contain collagen. It contains triterpene compounds. 4 of them are of greatest importance: asiaticoside, madecassoside, asiatic acid, and madecassic acid, but researchers keep returning to one compound as a key player. Asian acid may be the molecule doing the hardest work for stimulating collagen. These molecules do what collagen supplements cannot do. They communicate directly with your cells. When these triterpenes reach your fibroblasts, they start a cascade. Fibroblasts are the cells responsible for producing collagen. They sit in your dermal layer and produce structural proteins that keep your skin firm and elastic. Typically, these cells slow down with age. They become lazy, producing less collagen every year after their mid-20s. Gotu kola awakens them. The study, published in an evaluation report by the European Medicines Agency, found startling results. At 50 milligrams per milliliter of Centella asiatica extract, collagen production increased 3-fold. Not 30% more, not 50% more, but 300% more. The fibroblasts shifted into high gear. This was not just statistical noise or a slight improvement. A study in the American Journal of Scientific Research tested topical application of 10% Gotu kola cream. The results showed the highest increase in collagen levels by an average of 77.8%. Additionally, skin hydration improved by 81.58%. One herb, two main benefits. The mechanism involves the THF-beta ABPM pathway. It is a cell signaling system that controls tissue growth and repair. Asiaticoside and madecassoside activate this pathway. They tell the cell to start producing type 1 and type 3 collagen. These are the most common types of collagen in human skin. They provide structure and elasticity. Think of them as factory workers on the verge of retirement who suddenly get the signal to resume production. A study published in PubMed confirmed that oral administration of both asiaticoside and madecassoside increased the synthesis of type 3 collagen by activating dermal fibroblasts. Not only was it a local effect, but oral administration of the herb produced measurable results. A titrated extract of Centella asiatica, known as TECA, has become a standardized medicinal product. It contains 40% asiaticoside, 30% asiatic acid, and 30% madecassoside. Researchers in a French laboratory tested TECA on cultured human fibroblasts. They found that it increased collagen synthesis in a dose-dependent manner. More extract meant more collagen. The relationship was linear and predictable. The same study identified asiatic acid as the sole component responsible for stimulating collagen synthesis. This single molecule drives the main effect. Other compounds promote wound healing and anti-inflammatory benefits. But Asian acid is a collagen engine. A 224 study in the journal Antioxidants examined how these compounds protect against ultraviolet damage. Asian acid most potently inhibited UVB-induced MMP generation. MMPs are matrix metalloproteinases. These enzymes break down the collagen in your skin. Sun exposure triggers them, aging accelerates them. Asian acid blocks their action. The result is increased intracellular collagen levels, protection plus production. This double action is of great importance. Collagen supplements only attempt to add raw materials. They do nothing to stop collagen breakdown. They do nothing to stimulate production. Cola does both processes simultaneously. It tells cells to build more, preventing the destruction of what already exists. Clinical trials on living people confirm these laboratory findings. The researchers conducted a randomized, double-blind clinical trial on living people. They found a significant improvement in clinical wrinkle scores and a significant improvement in elasticity, significant improvement in firmness, significant improvement in roughness, and significant improvement in skin hydration. These were not subjective impressions, but measured clinical results. Another study looked at 60 people with cellulite. Participants used a go-to cola preparation called Madacastle 4 times a day for 4 months. The results clearly showed a beneficial effect on inhibiting the progression of cellulite. 85% of participants experienced significant improvement in their skin, from an herb that grows wild throughout Asia. TECA has become an important confidence enhancer because standardized extracts take the story out of the territory of traditional medicine. The EMA report confirms that titrated Centella extracts have a long history of medicinal use in Europe. TECA drugs have been authorized since 1968. This date is gold for trust. She tells the viewer that this is not a random internet trend. Sun exposure can be thought of as sending destructive commands into the skin's supporting matrix, while Asian acid appears to blunt some of this damage. This is a better strategy for maintaining attention than saying out loud UVB-induced MMP generation. The section also needs to connect with the culture of sunscreen and photoaging because viewers over 35 care deeply about sun damage. A study from 2024 showed that Centella extract not only stimulates the production of new collagen, but also actively protects existing collagen fibers from destruction. Ultraviolet radiation triggers a cascade of destructive enzymes in the skin. These enzymes attack structural proteins, causing wrinkles, loss of firmness, and premature aging. Asian acid acts as a molecular shield against this process. It blocks the activation of matrix metalloproteinases, maintaining the structural integrity of the skin. At the same time, it signals fibroblasts to begin repair work. The script should separate cellular studies, cosmetic studies, and human trials so that the ladder of evidence is clear. Now they are blurring together, which weakens the persuasiveness. A high-performance framework would move from a cup to a skin model to a human face to a measurable result. The cellulite study with matacasol is memorable because it is specific, unusual, and visual, which is why it is here to stay. But it needs a quick frame to avoid sounding like an infomercial statement. Clinical trials use doses of 60 to 450 milligrams of extract daily. The length of these studies suggests that the herb works through a cumulative effect. Consistency matters more than intensity. A 2022 study on 42 women aged 30 to 50 showed results after 8 weeks of use. The participants used a cream with 5% centella extract twice a day. Measurements showed an increase in skin elasticity by 23% and an improvement in hydration by 31%. The depth of wrinkles decreased by an average of 18%. But collagen isn't the only benefit. The plant is native to Southeast Asia and has traditionally been used as a brain tonic in Ayurvedic medicine. According to literature reviews, Centella asiatica has shown complex neuroprotection through multiple modes of action, including enzyme inhibition, prevention of amyloid plaque formation in Alzheimer's disease, protection against dopamine neurotoxicity in Parkinson's disease, as well as reducing oxidative stress in brain cells. Gotu kola is often prescribed for decreased brain function or lack of attention, as it has been found to protect against oxidative stress. Centella accelerates the regeneration and restoration of nerves. Improved learning and memory were observed, and the researchers found that the area of the brain involved in learning and memory responded positively to the consumption of Gotu kola. A 2016 study compared the effects of Gotu kola extract and folic acid on cognitive function after stroke. The study evaluated 3 groups of participants taking 1,000 milligrams of Gotu kola per day, 750 milligrams of Gotu kola per day, and 3 milligrams of folic acid per day. The plant also affects blood circulation. Asiaticoside and matacasoside strengthen blood vessel walls and improve the integrity of connective tissue throughout the vascular system. European doctors prescribed Centella asiatica extracts for chronic venous insufficiency, for varicose veins, and poor circulation in the legs. With a long history of use in the treatment of burns and leprosy, the constituents of Centella asiatica increase collagen formation in wounds. They trigger the dermis to rebuild and heal with minimal scarring. Studies found that collagen synthesis increased in damaged areas, but the excess production seen in fibrosis was prevented when using Centella. It is this regenerative effect that has led to its inclusion in cosmetic preparations for the skin and in creams for topical wound healing. A study from 2001 indexed in PubMed studied chronic venous hypertension. A systematic review in 2013 continued to discuss Centella's reputation for wound healing. Connective tissue everywhere, in the skin, veins, and scars, responds to the same signaling molecules. Now science is accelerating. Researchers from the Yunnan Agricultural University and collaborating institutes published their findings in May 2025 in the journal Horticulture Research. The team created a complete genome assembly from telomere to telomere of Centella asiatica. They constructed its 3-dimensional chromatin architecture to reveal how genome organization influences triterpenoid biosynthesis. Centella asiatica is widely valued for its triterpenoid saponins, especially asiaticoside and matacasoside. These compounds are used in pharmaceuticals, skin care, and neurological health supplements. However, the lack of a complete genome has limited understanding of how these compounds are synthesized and regulated. This study presents the first telomere-to-telomere genome of Centella asiatica, revealing its evolutionary history. It identifies specialized gene clusters and regulatory mechanisms that control the biosynthesis of triterpenoid saponins. This breakthrough allows scientists to understand exactly how the plant produces its healing compounds. It opens the door to optimized cultivation and allows the selection of plant varieties with higher concentrations of active compounds. Research continues to confirm what traditional healers have known for millennia. From 2000 to 2025, publication output showed a clear increase, with the strongest increase after 2015. Now, here's where the story gets personal. You can grow this plant yourself. Cola thrives in USDA plant hardiness zones 8 through 12. This covers the southern United States, Gulf Coast, Florida, Southern California, and Hawaii. If you live in a cooler climate, grow it as a summer annual or bring containers indoors for winter protection. Native to the tropics, but found throughout Europe and grown in warm greenhouses, Centella asiatica is a tender, low-growing, creeping perennial plant. It likes moist to soggy soil and produces tiny pink flowers under its 5-centimeter kidney-shaped leaves in summer. It grows to a maximum height of 20 centimeters. Although usually at home in rice fields, it can also be found in rocky areas and on walls if the climate is suitable. Growing requirements are simple. Choose a location with partial shade to full sun. The plant tolerates all types of soil, but prefers moist, swampy conditions. Think marshy areas, stream banks, and shady roadsides. In tropical habitats, it covers ground exposed by fire or construction. It is a pioneer species that colonizes disturbed land with aggressive enthusiasm. Centella asiatica is a prostrate, stolon-forming species that forms creeping mats. Like a strawberry, it takes root at every node. This is both a feature and a warning. In warm, humid climates, Cola can become invasive. It naturalized in Hawaii, spread throughout the Pacific Islands, and colonized wetlands in China. The plant wants to grow. Your task is to restrain it, not encourage it. For most gardeners, growing in containers offers the best approach. The plant behaves as a repair organism, sending out shoots that take root wherever they touch moisture. Use a pot with drainage holes and fill it with water-retentive potting mix. Plant your starter and water frequently. In hot weather, daily watering may be required. The plant wilts dramatically when dry, but quickly recovers when watered. Space plants 2 feet apart when growing in beds. They will spread out to fill the available space. Field-grown Cola can become quite large. Several pounds of yield per plant is achievable. The more you collect, the more it grows. Cutting stimulates branching. Branching produces more leaves. More leaves means more medicine. Reproduction couldn't be easier. Shoots are constantly produced by daughter plants. Each node can become a new plant. Dig up the rooted section, replant it, and you're done. One purchase creates an unlimited supply with no annual seed purchase. No subscription required. Now consider how to use what you grow. The leaves are edible and have a slightly bitter taste with a slight sweetness. Some describe hints of parsley or celery. In Sri Lanka, they make a traditional dish called sambal Cola, fresh leaves mixed with coconut and spices. In Vietnam, the leaves are added to summer rolls. In Indonesia, they are mixed into drinks. You can eat the leaves raw in salads. 2 to 3 leaves daily represents the traditional dose. You can brew the dried leaves as a tea or grind the dried leaves into powder and encapsulate them yourself. Some important precautions are worth mentioning. Cola is metabolized by the liver. If you have existing liver disease, consult your healthcare provider before use. Liver Tox, updated in 2024, states that Centella has been associated with rare cases of clinically apparent acute liver injury with jaundice. There are cases, and it is worth saying directly. Pregnant women and those trying to become pregnant should avoid the plant. Historical uses include contraceptive applications. The mechanism is not fully understood, but the traditional warning remains. Some people experience skin irritation when handling the fresh plant. Test a small amount first. Allergic reactions are possible, although rare. These precautions apply to any herb. They do not reduce documented benefits. They promote responsible use. The plant shows promise, but it is still pharmacologically active enough to deserve respect. Because of its beneficial role in neuroprotection, the plant has been considered a brain tonic. However, limited cultivation, poor seed viability with low germination rates, and decades of overexploitation have led to severe depletion. This threatens wild stocks. Home cultivation becomes even more valuable. You can help preserve the species by sustainably harvesting your own supply. If overharvesting and poor seed viability threaten wild stocks, then domestic propagation becomes a form of domestic management. This is an emotional improvement because it makes cultivation ethically meaningful and not just a matter of personal economy. Now step back and see the bigger picture. The collagen supplement industry is selling you addiction, monthly purchases, recurring payments, supply chains stretching across continents, processing enterprises, marketing budgets, shareholder returns. Each step extracts value from your wallet. Despite strong demand, the collagen supplement market faces several structural and regulatory challenges. High production costs, especially for hydrolyzed and specialty collagen varieties, may limit availability. Variability in the supply of raw materials, especially from animal sources, introduces supply chain vulnerabilities and ethical issues. Inconsistent product quality between brands has also led to consumer skepticism in some markets. Go-To Cola offers independence. One plant purchase, unlimited propagation, free medicine growing in your garden or windowsill. No corporation benefits from this transaction. Think about the attention economy. Collagen brands spend millions on advertising, algorithms boost sponsored content. The message reaches you repeatedly. Collagen peptides, marine collagen, hydrolyzed collagen. Words become familiar through simple repetition. Who advertises Go-To Cola? What corporation funds awareness campaigns for a plant that anyone can grow? What kind of influencer partnerships promote something you buy once and never need to buy again? Silence is not a conspiracy. Silence is an economy. Attention flows to profit. The focus is on margins, proprietary formulations, and repeat purchases. But now you know. You know that collagen supplements face fundamental absorption issues. You know that your body cannot direct these fragments to where you want them to go. You know that collagen synthesis requires cofactors and cellular machinery. You know that there is a herb that activates these mechanisms directly. You know that studies show a threefold increase in collagen production. You know that clinical trials document improvements in wrinkles, firmness, and hydration. Consider the contrast again. On one hand, you have a multi-billion-dollar industry selling processed animal parts shipped across oceans in plastic containers, foods that your body breaks down before they reach their intended destination. Products that require monthly repeat purchases. Products supported by marketing budgets that exceed the research budgets studying their actual effectiveness. On the other hand, you have a plant, a simple green herb with kidney-shaped leaves growing in pots on windowsills throughout Thailand, spread through gardens in southern India and thriving in wetlands from Malaysia to Madagascar. This plant contains specific molecules proven to activate your own collagen production mechanism. It doesn't need advertising because it has been advertising itself with results for 3,000 years. The choice is now yours. You can continue to buy processed animal parts in capsules. You can trust that some of these amino acids can reach your skin. You can pay monthly for the rest of your life, or you can grow a plant. One plant, self-replicating, constant supply. A medicine in your garden that tells your cells to build their own collagen, no subscription required, no supply chain needed. No corporation required. Research has been published. The mechanism has been proven. The plant is available. The only question is whether you will act on what you now know. Centella asiatica has attracted significant scientific interest due to its extensive medicinal properties and long-established use in traditional medicine. The reviews synthesize recent advances in the technological exploitation of Centella asiatica, covering the extraction of bioactive constituents through to product development. The plant does not care about market dynamics. It takes care of spreading, of covering the ground, of reproducing through shoots, seeds, and nodes that take root wherever they touch the soil. For 3,000 years it followed this single program. It will continue for another 3,000. Knowledge has always been available in Ayurvedic texts, Chinese pharmacopoeias, and traditional practices throughout Asia.